It's story time. Mary Poppins. In the olden days, on Cherry Tree Lane, there lived a wonderful family. Mr. and Mrs. Banks had two children named Jane and Michael. The kids changed nannies very often because they were very well known to be troublemakers. One day, Mr. Banks wrote advertising in the newspaper, and on his surprise, for the interview came a very strange but yet confident person named Mary Poppins. She was absolutely certain that she can manage well the role of Jane and Michael's nanny, and once the children met her, they liked her a lot. And why wouldn't they? They knew that when you're with Mary Poppins, the most unusual things happen. It was morning on Cherry Tree Lane. Jane and Michael Banks were still in bed. "Up, up," said Miss Poppins. "We will have a super-cali-fragi-listic day." "Super-cali-what, Miss Poppins?" asked Michael. "Close your mouth, Michael. We're not codfish. If you can't think of a word that says just what you want to say, try super-cali-fragi-listic. And it just describes today." That got Jane and Michael up and dressed in a record time. "Out to the park we go," said Miss Poppins. "Spit spot this way." They went in the park where they met Bert, a fine entertainer who knew Mary Poppins very well. As he was drawing pictures, Jane saw this amazing place and she immediately wanted to go there. Bert convinced Mary to take the children there, and some magic happened. In a moment, all four of them got inside the picture. They had the best time riding horses, playing with all the animals, which they loved very much, Miss Poppins. They had the best time. The next day, Andrew, Miss Lark's little dog, stopped Miss Poppins. "Yep, yep, yep," said Andrew. "Again?" said Miss Poppins. "Yep, yep," said Andrew. "Oh yes, of course, I'll go straight away. Thank you very much," she replied, and led the kids at a brisk pace down narrow, twisting streets they had never seen before, until she stopped at the door of a small house. The door was opened by Mary's friend, Bert. "How's he?" Mary asked. Bert shook his head. "Never seen him like this before," he said. "Bless me, bless my soul," said a voice rich with chuckles. "It's Mary Poppins! I'm so delighted to see you, my dear." Jane and Michael looked, but they could not see anyone in the room. Then Mary spoke, looking up in the ceiling. "Uncle Albert, you promised not to go floating around again." Jane and Michael looked up, and what they saw was Miss Poppins' Uncle Albert floating in the air and chuckling merrily. To the children he whispered, "It's the laughing that does it." The children began laughing, and so did Bert. Soon, they were simply flying with laughter. When Bert told Uncle Albert a joke, all four of them laughed so much that they turned somersault in the air. Soon, Michael asked Uncle Albert for the way to get down. To this, he told him to think about something sad and he would simply come down. "Time to go home," said Mary with crispy and firm voice, which cut sharply through the laughter. At the sad thought of going home, down came four of them. "Goodbye, we'll be back soon," said Michael. "And thank you," said Jane. "We've had a lovely time." Back home, Jane and Michael tried to tell their father about their adventure. "Children will be children," sniffed Mary Poppins, "and these two are up past bedtime. Spit-spot!" Michael and Jane just looked at each other. "Anyway," said Jane, "it was a super-cali-fragi-listic day. If you like us, please subscribe.